Welcome back. It's deck profile. This time we'll be looking at one of the Ghostrick deck profiles that actually did quite well in Scrub League. It's the one that uses the DDD engine, which put up quite a bit of a fight against one of the Shiranui decks. Pretty much, that was a Shiranui, the ritual deck, Vendread, the zombie deck.
Yeah, Shiranui Vendread.
And this is interesting deck list by Calum.
So, as you can imagine, the first starting cards are 3 DD Savant Kepler, 1 DD Lamia, and 3 Dark Contract with the Gate.
Yeah, so that's seven cards as a DDD engine, or DD engine rather.
So the idea of this engine is to summon Kepler, add Dark Contract, play Dark Contract, add Lamia, summon Lamia, and go for Dullahan. So it's a 1 card rank 1.
Yeah, pretty much, and you only need 1 Lamia for this, right?
Yeah, because every time you detach Lamia, it will go to grave instead of getting banished.
Yeah, and we saw in that game, you just use the Kepler to search the contract, and then contract search the Lamia. Lamia searches the contract, and then you keep on looping that sort of play, so you keep making Dullahan into the Ghostrick,
Angel,
etc. Yeah.
It just gives you a lot of search options. So for the actual Ghostricks, there's 3 Jiangshi, which Jiangshi says when flipped, you add a Ghostrick whose level is equal to or less than the number of Ghostricks face up. So if you flip Jiangshi up on its own, you only add a level 1. So the majority of the deck as a result is level 1.
Yeah, I can see that. Jiangshi is pretty much the only... oh, I see, there's also Duel, which is 2. But Jiangshi is pretty much the only level 3. Because I'm guessing you only search level 1s most of the time, as you said.
I'll get on to Duel more with the next kind of play.
Yep.
So we play 3 Ghostrick Mary. Ghostrick Mary says when you take damage, you can discard it and summon any Ghostrick face down from deck. So normally, you'll either summon Jiangshi in order to search one, or you're going to summon Duel. So to follow that up, we then have the 2 Ghostrick Duel. Ghostrick Duel, when flips, activates, and then it resolves during the end phase, whether or not it's still on the board or not. And what that will do is flip all monsters on the board face down. And then for each monster it flipped, it can combine that and summon a Ghostrick from deck whose level is equal to or lower than the number flipped. So normally you're going to summon Jiangshi off of that, providing your opponent's got a sizable board.
Yeah, and we saw in that game it was a bit of a blowout card because it just flipped the whole board face down. And
it also worked really well against link decks because it forced them to link summon main 2 in order to not just completely neg. So I went against Goki, and when he entered the battle phase, he had 4 Goki monsters face up and no link monsters.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So he swung directly with Scorpio, and I ditched Mary to summon Duel from deck. He then realised, as I flipped Ghostrick Scare and flipped Duel face up, main 2 he had to link summon in order to stop all of his monsters flipping face down. So it can force your opponent to do some plays they don't want to do. So rounding off the rank 1s, we have 3 Ghostrick Lantern and 3 Ghostrick Spectre. You play 3 of each mainly because you want to draw them if you can't search them. It's just optimal kind of bodies in the deck, especially Spectre. Because Spectre says whenever any Ghostrick is destroyed, you can summon it face down and draw 1. So many times I survived because they went, pop your face down, summon Spectre, draw 1. To round off the monsters, we have Maxi, because it's the only hand trap I own.
Yeah, Maxi's pretty busted.
I never actually used it like all tournament.
Oh, okay, unfortunate.
But it was always there, you know. So 2 Twin Twisters. This was actually a last-minute decision because I figured Dark Magician would be played in the Scrub League and I wanted some way to fight that deck because Eternal Soul just shuts me down. So we played 2 Ghostrick Mansion. Ghostrick Mansion is one of the key cards in the lockdown because what Ghostrick Mansion says, if your opponent only controls face-down monsters, you can attack them directly. And any damage that is dealt is halved unless it's by a Ghostrick. And this is really helpful in the win condition, which I'll explain a little later.
Okay. 2
Allure of Darkness. Allure of Darkness is just good because everything you play is dark. To round off the spells, we play 2 Swords of Concealing Light. The reason I'm playing this over any other board wipes is because Ghostricks don't really want to board wipe the opponent because that unlocks their field, which then means they can just spam everything out again. Whereas Swords Concealing Light flips anything they've got face down, meaning Mansion is now live, and it says they can't switch battle positions, just period.
It's quite useful as well with your the trap card that you used. Even if it leaves the field, right? Your trap card's still useful with it. Or we'll talk about it in a bit. I saw it in the game though, that's why it was quite interesting.
So we play 3 Ghostrick Scare, probably the main trap in the entire deck. Ghostrick Scare says when activated, flip all your face downs face up. So that could be any monster you've got face down. It doesn't even have to be a Ghostrick. And then it says for each Ghostrick flipped, you get to flip one of your opponent's monsters face down. But what's really good about this is that it doesn't target.
Oh, it doesn't target? Okay.
No, it targets your monsters, not your opponent's.
That's probably a nuisance though, so your opponent won't know that's going to get flipped face down until...
oh yeah. Because one game I had BL summoned against me and I just flipped it face down and locked the extra deck zone. So we follow this up with 2 Ghostrick Vanish. Ghostrick Vanish says reveal 1 Ghostrick card in your one Ghostrick monster even in your hand. And then during this turn, face down monsters you control and Ghostrick cards, so that includes your spells and traps. They can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects, so it means they can't be Cosmic Cyclones, Twin Twisted, Regeki'd, any of that. But the only thing you have to watch out for, the turn you play Vanish, you can't play Scare, because you can't target your own cards.
Oh, it also stops you from targeting.
Yeah, it's just a blanket immunity. Now to the one of Ghostrick traps, we play Ghostrick Knight.
Yeah, I like
this is the floodgate for the deck.
I really like this one.
While you control a face-up Ghostrick, your opponent cannot flip summon. This card will normally win the game, but the only reason you play one of it is because, one, it's extremely searchable. Early game, it's just a horrible card to draw.
Yeah, that's true.
And then we play 1 Ghostrick Go-Round. What it does, during the battle phase, if your opponent controls a face-up attack and you control a face-down defense position, you can flip them. And if you control a face-up attack and they control a face-down defense, you can flip that. So it just swaps the battle positions for 2 monsters. It just allows for some cute plays during the battle phase for extra attacks, and it can get you out of some sticky situations. Speedroids were used because you could go summon Terratop, add Takatomborg, go for Alucard, and then you'd go for Angel. But because of the format at that point, you could play more than 1 Angel. You'd play 3 go-rounds, because Burning Abyss was still a relevant thing.
Yeah.
So to round off the traps, we play 2 Quaking Mirror Force and 2 regular Mirror Force. Quaking's really good because it just permanently flips whatever your opponent has faced out. It just does the job of Ghostrick Knight for you, and say they've got a non-link monster in their extra monster zone, you can permanently lock them out of their extra monster zone. And then Mirror Force was also a late addition because I was afraid of link monsters. They really kill Ghostrick.
Yeah, because you can't flip them face down, can't you? No.
But one of the things I noticed about link monsters, none of them really float. Like Mrs. Radiant can add cards back to hand, same as Miss Starboy, but none of them actually float.
Yet.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yet. But if you board wipe a board of links, that just serves just as good a purpose as locking a board face down, because you'd rather them have an empty board than a board full of link monsters. The extra deck's kind of irrelevant because you only ever summon like 2 monsters, so we play 3 Ghostrick Dullahan, the main Exodia of the deck.
Yeah, you made it like 3 times in that duel.
And its actual effect you rarely ever use, but you sometimes use it to like get over Decode Talker and things like that. And it says during either player's turn you can detach one to half the attack of an opponent's monster, and he gives himself 200 boost as well. Typically you can swing over anything, because once you half it, it's got to be lower than 1200. What you can normally do, you can activate Dullahan to half the attack of an opponent's monster, and then put Ghostrick Angel of Mischief over. This is on 2k, and you can now swing over.
So in theory you can get around anything bigger than 3950 or something weird like that. Maybe even you can get around 4k monsters by crashing as well.
Pretty much, but if your opponent summons something bigger than 4k, you're normally trying to figure out a different way over it at that point. Yeah. We now play 3 Ghostrick Angel of Mischief because this is the main Exceed in the deck. This says you can detach one to add any Ghostrick spell trap. So
how good is that? That's like the consistency of the deck, right? Because you keep saying
this runs the entire deck. This adds your Ghostrick Knight, your Ghostrick Mansion, all of it. All the good stuff.
Once per turn.
It's got another really cool combo with Dullahan, because Dullahan says when it's sent to grave, by any means, add any Ghostrick card from grave to hand. So if you detach Dullahan from Angel, you get to search your deck for one, and then add any Ghostrick from grave to hand. We play 3 Ghostrick Alucard.
Why 3?
No reason, I just kind of liked the playset really, because they were all in Ultra.
Oh, okay, nice.
I never actually summoned them, they were just kind of in there for filler. We played 1 Ghostrick Circuit Boss. We could actually summon this if we used our 2 dolls, but I think I did that once and turned it immediately into Angel anyway.
Can you use Maxi to make it?
Yeah, you can use Maxi as well.
Do you have a Maxi?
I mean, there are a couple of times that it come in useful. What SoCute Bots does is you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls with attack less than it and blow it up and then lock the zone. The only problem with SoCute Bots is that it doesn't have the revival effect like Dullahan and Alucard when it's sent to grave.
Oh, it doesn't have it? Okay. I didn't know that.
It's really not optimal to detach. So we play one Sylvan Princess Sprite. It just allows you to dig through your deck a bit more if you need to. It's kind of like the fourth Dullahan, like if you run out of options. We played one Wind Up Zen mains purely to, like, you could make it off of 2 Jiangshi and sit behind it if things were really going sour. We played 2 Giga Brilliant, mainly once again for filler, but Giga Brilliant could give you the boost you needed for an OTK or just to push the game. And then we played 1 Digital Bug Corbage, because you can play it on top of Dullahan and then just spin back any defense position monster to the deck, which in Ghostricks is pretty easy.
Wait, you can rank up from Dullahan using... I thought it was insects only that you can do it.
Yeah, you play it on top of Giga Brilliant.
Oh,
sorry, I probably said Dullahan.
So I was confused.
Yeah, that's my bad.
Okay, so you make this, yeah. It's used in BM.
And you just... Yeah, that's where I actually got the inspiration from.
Yeah.
So the main strategy of the deck is to lock your opponent's board in some way, shape or form, or keep enough advantage that you will eventually lock them down. And once you get them all face down, the idea is to summon Ghostrick Angel in the extra monster zone and using Ghostrick Mansion, swing directly for 2k every turn.
Yeah, when as we saw.
Yeah, and it puts your opponent on a 4-turn clock, because in 4 attacks they're going to lose.
Yeah, exactly.
And if they can't summon anything, they can't board wipe, they can't play anything, they're going to lose. They normally scoop like on the second attack if they realise they're not going to get out of it.
Yeah, I see what you mean. So, how did you find this deck as the League format started? Because you were playing this before, right?
Oh yeah, I've been playing this since it came out.
Yeah.
I greatly underestimated it. I thought it was going to do horribly. I think it's mainly just because Link's a new mechanic at the minute, so not everyone's playing it properly. Like, the best we had was Gofu, and now that's limited.
Yeah, the balance got released yesterday, yeah. And also, notice, you don't run any Link monsters. Do you think you need to run one in the future?
If there's, if they make the generic Dark Link 2, then possibly, but at the minute, making a Link 2 or any kind of Link monster would just devote too many resources to the wrong, play. The new Archfiend Link monster is a potential choice for the deck, because you can...
Which one is that?
It's I think it's called Perpetual Archfiend.
Oh, okay, I thought you meant the burning of this one.
No, that's Cherubini.
Yeah, I was thinking of. I don't know which one.
Perpetual Archfiend only requires 2 Fiend monsters.
Oh, so it works in this deck then? Because they're all...
most of them are Fiend. So... But you normally have to have a follow-up play immediately, which Ghostricks can't really do because they need their normals and their sets.
Yeah, it's a bit of a slow deck. Oh, you can use it with the DDD engine as well, because they're both Fiends, aren't they?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You see, there are a couple of cool interactions which I can point out in the engine for DDD and Ghostrick. The Dark Contracts, they burn you during your standby phases, and because it's not a maintenance cost, you can actually ditch your Ghostrick Mary for it and summon any Ghostrick from deck.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
And if you have Mansion up, you only take 500 damage instead of 1,000.
Oh yeah, because it's half. All the damage people take is half. Even burn damage, right?
Yeah, just any damage in general that's not a Ghostrick card.
Damage, like, as you said.
If you don't want to play the DD engine, there is one other engine I'd recommend you play, and that's the Preda plant engine. So, triple Lone Flyer, 3 Orphis Scorpio, and 2 Darling Toner Cobra, or whatever it's called. So you'll be going for Alucard instead of Dullahan. It's still an optimal engine because Alucard can add from grave when it's sent, but the only problem is you have to ditch resources from hand. Like most games, you were starting the game with 4 cards in hand and an angel on board, so you didn't actually have any back row. So it just kind of shows the importance of your hands more than anything else in the deck. Like, most of the time, even if you bricked, you would still survive about 2 or 3 turns just because of the hand traps alone. Yeah, that's Ghostricks.
Yeah, that's Ghostricks. That's a really nice deck to go around. So, see with the DDD engine though, it seems really good with the DDD engine, consistent and stuff. But unfortunately, they've been voted banned.
Oh no! I'm gonna play Preda Plant now.
I guess you have to probably switch another engine, unfortunately. Hopefully they come back, I don't know, to help out your deck again. And hopefully you get the Link Monster you want for the deck. So yeah, that's it
fingers crossed.
Yep, so yeah, that's it for this deck profile. And happy Halloween, guys.
Happy Halloween.
Yeah, thanks for doing this, like nearly like midnight or something.
No worries.
Alright, cheers mate. Bye bye.
Bye.